Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Creighton Show. Another exciting show, another exciting guest here to promote the new movie next Sunday, Street Angels, IMAX Theater, Indianapolis, Indiana. Make sure you are in the place to be, dressed to impress. Now, we know about the movie. We met some of the cast members, but today we're going to talk with the man who puts it all together and one of the leading men of the show. So I'm going to start here on my right and have him to introduce himself.
Sammy, Rockstar Radford, one half of Nappyville, director of Street Angel.
And on my opposite side,
I am Richard McMoney Taylor, and I play Dreads in the movie.
what better character could you not play than Dreads?
I know, right? Created especially for me.
Before we get started, let's start on this side. They brought the idea to you. What did you think when you first got the idea?
Well, me and Lamont Coleman, the writer of the film, we had been talking for a while about other films that we were coming up with some ideas and just bouncing ideas off each other. And then he ended up moving to Indianapolis. Mm. So he was kind of posted here, and it was like, okay. So what we were talking about before, we weren't really set and ready to do. So it was like, okay, we'll put that on the back burner. So shortly after that, my mother ended up having a stroke.
Oh, shit.
So I was in Phoenix.
Okay.
Previously he was in Nashville.
Right.
So Nashville to Indianapolis, then Phoenix to Indianapolis.
Okay.
So I also came here. So it put us in the same city, and we were kind of able to put our heads together on some new stuff. And it was like, okay, what could we do while we're here? Right. We're here for the, who knows how long at this point. So, might as well get some work in while we're here. And Street Angel came about, and I was like, yep.
What was your take when he brought it to you? I mean, did you know it was going to it won some major awards already?
Right.
But did you see it manifesting as quickly and as accurately as it has done?
I had a lot of, I would say, faith in the film. Just it's a faith-based film, but it was more or less just our synergy that we've had just in previous conversations, and we've known each other for a long time already in the music world and everything. So it was just kind of like whatever he brought to me, I knew it was going to be something that was worthwhile, something that that would have a message, because he's very thoughtful. You know what I mean, and very intentional. Mm-hmm. So when I saw it, I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it quick.
What was we mentioned this word. I haven't forgot about you, Dreads.
I'm straight, man.
So let's go here. You guys do what is called a reading. I think it's what it's called, a table reading, right? Yeah. Were you part of that table reading?
I was not at the table reading.
How important is it for you to be involved in the table reading when you're trying to be creative behind the scenes as well? Mm-hmm. Like, what did you miss not being there that when you look back and you put everything together, if you had been there, it might have made a difference or made more creativities come to your to your mindset?
Well, I didn't have an opportunity to be present at the table read just for, medical purposes and stuff like that. But okay. I put full faith in Lamont and the team being able to put it together and handle everything. So I already knew from reading the script we were going to need to add a few things, but I wasn't going to stop the show for that, because I knew we had a limited amount of time to get things done. And I knew, just like on bigger feature films and stuff like that, you got to go do reshoots, you got to do, pick up shots and stuff like that. So we already knew that there were things that had to be done, but it wasn't until we got into the edit, it was like, okay, well, we knew this, and this, but what if we did this? So that creative side, we would experience that on set as well, just from the actors and how they would approach different scenes. Like, oh, well, that makes sense for if he did this over here, but we hadn't wrote that yet. We hadn't talked about it.
Let's talk about your man Dress here. When as you doing the creativity behind the scenes, he played a pivotal role in the movie. Did you find that after going through the final phases that you can make him even more of a unique character in there as well?
Definitely. I can almost kind of go back to when me and Lamont, we were at another a preview for another film, and I saw some of his work. Me and Ricky, we actually go back way back to middle school and high school.
What?
Yeah.
For sure, facts.
So I saw him, I was like, oh, he's acting? And he was doing a crazy job. Like, he was killing it.
Right.
So I was like, hey, so we talked after the film, and I was like, hey, we need Ricky. He was like, oh, Dress? Yeah. Like, yeah, we have to have him. You know what I mean? Because he's dope.
Why did you need him? That's the key, because I think people need to realize something here. You've been knowing each other since you were like this, and now he's involved, and you recognize talent.
Right.
So what was it about him that you went to the mindset, look, this is the guy?
It was just the raw talent, you know, because I didn't know whether he had been to acting classes or anything like that, but what I saw on screen, I knew we needed that for the film. It's raw. He was being himself, but he was adding to it. So it was that part that I know. I was like, okay, he knows what to do with a character. You know what I mean?
Hold that though. What does he mean when he say raw? What is raw? What does that mean to you, raw?
I have no experience in acting, bro.
Really?
Yeah. I've done a film before this one, but the guy that picked me for that film seen me performing at a show. I was rapping on stage. So that's how I landed that role. Like, I ain't been in no classes for this, so I think that's what he mean, raw, just kind of taking the character and add myself to it. You know what I'm saying?
When you got the character, like you said, you haven't had any, you never did acting. You're more of a musician, an artist. When the role came to you, how did you accept it? Did you what was your take on it when you got the role? Is what I'm saying.
First of all, I ain't turning nothing but my collar down.
You sound like me.
For real. I mean, especially, the people that was attached to it. You know what I'm saying? I knew it was something big before I even knew what the script was really about, just because of who presented it to me.
Right.
And I was flattered, too. You feel me? So, but as I got into the script and my character, I started to realize we was doing something serious. You know what I'm saying? So, it made me had to step into it a little more.
What part of the script made you realize that it was something serious? Because you came in, let's call it what it is, a little cautious. You ain't just gonna go into something. You don't seem to be that type of person. You're gonna analyze some stuff.
For sure.
So after you start reading the script, what part of the script made you go, okay, this shit is for real?
I gotta be honest, man. Like I said this in a previous interview we did. I think they told me when they called me, I got a 3-way call from Chrissy and Lamont to offer me the role. And I'm sure they told me on the phone, but I don't think I heard it or understood it. At the table read, I was cussing, you feel me, in the table read. And they had to remind me this is a faith-based film, you feel me? They really had to. I don't think I understood that from the jump. So once we got into it and I got to really, you know what I'm saying, be one with my character and see what everybody else had going on, you know what I'm saying, I had to tap into that. You know what I'm saying, step out of Mac Money and be Dreads.
How difficult was it to get into playing that with full authenticity? Because you're this, but now you got to do this. And let's go back to something else too. This is a faith-based thing. So you got to change the whole persona now.
I really didn't though, because I grew up in the church. You know what I'm saying? So that's rooted in me anyway. I stray away like we all do, but it wasn't that hard to tap into it. Plus, I kind of I'm really like playing myself in this movie. Like my character is, he kind of straddling the fence. He in the streets, but he know he don't need to be there, and that's kind of like, what I'm saying, story of my life. You feel me? So it wasn't too hard to tap into it.
Tell me a little bit about your life without going into the film. Who are you?
I'm just a real person, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm just real. I come from the ghetto. You feel me? From the neighborhood, but my parents raised me the right way. Tried to. You know what I'm saying? As we get older, we do our own thing. Mm-hmm. But if they put the right seed in you, it'll sprout eventually. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just a real person, man. I'm just trying to stay focused.
How much of you is that character in real life?
He's probably 90% me. Like, real talk. I mean, from the name and everything. Like, people been calling me Dreads before I got the role. Mm-hmm. So it's me.
When you look at your character in this movie, what makes me want to come in and see the character Dreads in this movie that you're playing? Let me do it like this. Let me go here.
Go ahead.
Based on your life, what individuals would you recommend to come and see you play this character?
Anybody in the streets. Any youth, anybody that's lack of a father figure, no guidance, you know what I'm saying, don't know what they want to do with themselves, or, you know what I'm saying, like I said, the streets, they need to see this. This is an important movie for our culture, for our kids, for our youth, for our city. You know what I'm saying? Like, I encourage everybody to come see this movie, man. Your granny, your whoever can come see it. It's a message in it for everybody.
Let's go back here for a minute. After talking to him, I can see why you probably had to go back and amplify the message in here. What part of the message did you amplify with him? We know where it started, but let's get real. You added, can I say this, another 30, because you saw more creativity with this whole project. And a lot of it was based around particular characters. He happened to be one of the characters. What was it that you, after you saw the first 30 minutes of editing, and you said, you know what, I need to give him superpowers? What was the superpowers that you gave him?
More of a voice.
Really?
I would say just because of the nature of his character and everything that he was dealing with as a character, I didn't think there was enough of it to flourish. Like, now you can see him beginning, middle, and end of how his character evolves, his character arc, if you will. Mm-hmm. And as for some of the other characters, same thing. Mm-hmm. But for him in particular, I would want to say he's the antagonist.
Do you think you're an antagonist?
But not really,
I'm a problem. I'm a problem.
What do you mean when you say you're a problem?
I mean, you gotta have a villain. You gotta have the good guy. You know what I'm saying?
You all of it rolled up into one?
I'm half and half. You know what I'm saying? I'm half and half.
So when you amplified him, how do you think, from your standpoint, because now you got to your job is to take all of this raw footage and make it presentable to the people like Lamont and the people behind the scenes. How was, let me put this way. Clearly you believed in your craft. Mm-hmm. Did you think it was going to be met with resistance from Lamont and the people behind the scenes that you said, I need to add another 30 minutes in there? This can go deeper than what this transcript is that you gave me.
Well,
you don't know what kind of questions you're going to get when you sit in this chair, dog.
No, it's all good. No, I mean, because we talked about it very early on.
Yeah.
About things that might need to be amplified or extended or added or whatever the case may be. And as time went on, it was like, let's do this too. And then let's do this too. So I was getting a little pushback from the producers and everybody a little bit, but they trusted the vision and I trusted their vision as well and their guidance on, because we have a budget and
Right.
and time is a thing.
Right.
So we met in the middle every time, and it was great.
What
And
was
we got the film that we got.
what was the vision from your standpoint? What was the vision from their standpoint, and what was the vision from your standpoint? Because let's get real, you got all different personalities on here, and the whole purpose starts with the guy who came up with the vision, which is Lamont. So now, when you bring in different talents in, it's almost like playing God. You know what I mean? I got this person doing this. I got this person doing this. I see the vision because Lamont is the guy because he's the vision. But is he able? You're going with me now. Is he able? Because at the end of the day, he might be the visionary, but he's got to also be able to accept new information and evolve with that. So what I'm saying to you is, how did that make you feel, that knowing that you had to bring all a different aspect to something that he had already did, and how does that change the whole trajectory of the movie?
Well, that's filmmaking. When you're making a film, you're gonna have the original script, and then there's gonna be rewrites. There might be rewrite. We were rewriting stuff on the day.
Really?
Like
as you was on the set doing it?
Yeah. So some of the lines might change, or with the script is the Bible, right? This is everything that we got. But we started adding stuff on set, and then like you already know now, we added stuff after the fact. So it all worked out perfectly, and like I said, his discretion, but just being able to be understandable and be like, oh yeah, it's not a very hard person to to understand ideas. He's a visionary, so if you say something, it's like, oh okay, he can see it before we do it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't hard for him to understand some of the new things that were coming to light.
What was the most difficult part? Because I don't want people to always sit here and think that being a creative mind is easy. We run into stumbling blocks along the way. Like you said, you had to realize this was a faith-based operation. You had to change a little bit of something here. The reality is, what were some of the things that you had to deal with in your department? Because you're the man behind the scenes. You take all of their stuff and say, okay, and people, believe me, I do what you do too. You have to sit there and watch that's all that video footage. You'd be like, oh my God. But I get it. You be like, damn, I wish I could have added this in. What were some of the problems that you ran into as you was doing this feature movie?
I wouldn't say they were problems. They were just, how can we make this better?
Okay.
How can we blow it out the frame? You know what I mean? There was some sayings that was like, okay, what if we took it up a notch? You know what I mean? What if we added this? Say now we got Dreads doing this, this, and this, and then that ties back to, like, when you're watching the film, you'll see a lot of different things. It's not, I guess I can't say that. Well, yeah, I can. It's not completely in order. Okay. But when you watch it, I don't know if you see movies
almost like
Crash or different things
I
like
love
that.
Crash.
Yeah. So it's got that kind of feel to it when you're watching it.
Yeah.
So you might think that you know what's going on.
Almost like a Quentin Tarantino.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I like. It took me a while to get his. Do you find yourself? Who do you monitor? Who do you mentor your craft after? Because it took me a while to get to understand the Quentin Tarantino type movies, and I was like, and at the end of the day, I said, damn, that's pretty ingenious how he did that. Or when you're watching The Matrix, you go, wow, now I get, the mess. Who's your mentors here?
Like a lot of different people, so I'm not even gonna make a list. But I'm a person that I would like to say that I know when I see good stuff, and I take little pieces from all over and apply them to what I'm doing. You know what I mean? How can I use what I'm seeing or hearing and make what I'm doing that much better?
How do you take a faith-based motion picture like this and use your craft to make it resonate to the skeptic, to the believer, and to the non-believer?
Well, that's one thing that Me and the team early on, we talked about uh, what what can we do different than other faith-based films have done, and that was the basis, really the foundation for a lot of the films that we started putting together before this film.
Mhm.
When we got to this film, it was like, okay, we're gonna go straight to the streets. It's gonna be gritty. It's gonna have edge. You know what I mean? But it's gonna have a message, and not just a, you know, a it's gonna have a faith based message because most movies do have a message.
Mhm.
But ours is it's not in your face like Jesus, 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 because you can't relate to people if you're just trying to stuff it down their throat, and if you can't relate to their way of life or anything like that. So this film and really all the films that we're doing, even just this year, they're all going to be palatable by a lot of different walks of life.
What makes this project different than other projects that you've been a part of?
Well, this is my first faith-based film. I also come from the church as well, you know. So it was something that was due to happen for sure. But a lot of the stuff I was doing before this, I guess you would say, is secular.
Mhm.
So yeah, you've got secular and you've got faith-based. So you know, it's either one or the other. I mean, but this is more of a mix.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you like regular films,
Yeah.
this is not. It doesn't feel like you're being preached to. Like, hey, you gotta do this. You gotta.
Right.
do.
Right.
Yeah. So
You said night and day. I heard you. Elaborate on that.
I mean, you know what he talking about, man.
I'm asking you. Don't throw
it's
me up
night
on the
and
bus.
day. I mean, you know, it's faith based, but like he said, it connects you with the streets. You know what I'm saying? And I think what he was saying is, I'm saying it's night and day compared to the work he's done previous to this.
Mhm.
You get in that faith based lane, you gotta stay in that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things you can't do, you can't say, a lot of images you can't project. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think he meant by that. It's just night and day.
Let me go off script here for a minute. Why do you think that a lot of the faith-based movies that I've seen that are produced by our people always have a tendency to always project from a street thug ghetto mentality, and that seems to be the only way to get to the faith base. Does that make any sense?
I mean, how else you gonna get a young man off the block into the church if you don't have no type of connection other than Jesus, Jesus, Jesus? You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta connect with the youth any way you can.
Okay.
I mean,
What's your take on it?
I agree with that. That's one of the things I said. But the next 4 films that we're doing, they're not necessarily like street films.
Right.
This just happened to be the one that we wanted to bring out the gate, you know, to really make an impact, you know, to kind of cover all bases, to grab the streets, to grab people that's in the church, to grab the kids and the older folk, and it kind of covers everything.
What part of your character do you think, out of a particular role here, because they added additional footage for you, different things. So now, what particular part of this movie do you resonate with that you had to deal with every single day in your life, that you still see on the streets today, that you yourself, even though you're playing this character, that you still struggle with today?
controlling myself, having self control, not overreacting to everything, and I'm speaking about me and my character. Um, yeah, just thinking before you act. You know what I'm saying? You make a lot of terrible decisions. You know what I'm saying, on the fly. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta sit with it, think about it. You know what I'm saying? Just not jump out the window. So I would say self control.
Do you like the character?
I love my character. I love myself.
Okay. 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 I like that. I'm gonna ask you this question. You see all the behind the scenes stuff before it gets on the set. Give me at least three characters that you've looked at as you're doing this, and you can tell that they're destined to be something in this industry.
I couldn't cap it at 3 because I think.
I'm not gonna give you all of them. I'm gonna give you.
Yeah.
I'm only gonna give you three. The other ones know they're all good, but
Yeah.
but the deal is like this. You saw that he needed additional footage, so let's use that as the stepping stone to answer the question. So, which other two outside of him, so is two that you looked at and go, wow, they're gonna be something.
I would say uh, Dreads for sure. Uh, Marcus for sure. These are our leading men, and they carried the movie. So, and that's not easy to do.
Why is that?
Not at all, because the backbone of the movie, they're kind of that. Like every story that's happening
Mm-hmm.
is a branch off of their story and their other story, and on and on and on. The ladies, they did phenomenal.
Right.
Like I had to add a lot of scenes for them as well, just because there was still stories still to be told. So
What was it about the ladies that really? We don't hear a lot about the women role in motion pictures. Strong women, that is. You're behind the scenes here. What did you feel needed to be amplified with the women, and why?
uh, with Symphony, she came in and she did her thing and killed it out the gate, just the whole thing. So we didn't have to do a whole bunch because her story was already weaved in exactly how it needed to be. But Alicia, we had to add more stuff for her because she was killing it too. But I didn't feel like there was enough. There was more of her story to be told,
Mm-hmm.
and scenes that she had with Dreads, it was like we need more of this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot
Facts.
more here. There's a lot more emotion. There's a lot more, just the meat of the story. It lies in their story as well. You know what I mean? To develop them was develop the entirety story of the film.
When you do, before we wrap up, you're developing a story. Is it were you trying to project more of a unity between man and woman, a love story? Like, what was the purpose for really amplifying both of those two characters?
I would say exactly that the unity, the loyalty that they had, not just her for him, but him for her. You know what I mean? It was a joint situation. They really relied on each other's uh, perspectives on what they were seeing happen and what was going on, and they really like had a very tight knit bond. So
Now I got to ask this question because this guy. I just got to download. Were there were there a lot of weaknesses in the feminine role that you had to make stronger?
I wouldn't say that at all.
Okay.
I just felt like the strong stuff that was there
Yeah.
needed to be more.
Okay.
It needed to be more. There were no. I wouldn't say
Okay.
that there were any weak parts
Okay.
of the female roles at all. Everything was kind of like solid. Everything was solid.
Okay. So before we wrap up, why should you watch this film? Why should viewers go out and participate in watching this film from your eyes? Not the fact that you guys are both part of it, but if you're going to have somebody, if you're on the street, how would you pitch this to somebody to watch and go take a part in? Take yourself out of the equation, sell it.
Go ahead, mate. Do your thing. Let me hear what you got.
If you into good movies, you want to be entertained, you want to learn something you can watch with your granny, your kids. You
Yeah.
feel me? This is where you need to be on the 19th. IMAX Theater, Indiana State Museum. 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Get you some tickets now, Boss Lady Media, please. Don't miss out. You don't want to be one of the ones who didn't make it to this premiere. Straight up.
I like the way you said it. That's what I'm talking about. Before we wrap up, how can the viewers reach out to you, know more about you, and how can they reach out to you? Go.
You can reach me at the number 1, Rockstar, RKSTAR on Instagram. And that's pretty much the only way you're going to find me.
And how can they reach out to you, big dog?
You can find me on Facebook, Gutter Boy Mac Money. Instagram, it's Mac Money GB. And Spotify, it's Mac Money GB as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you make yourself in the place next Sunday, the IMAX Theater, Indianapolis, Indiana. Dress to Impress, 2 shows, red carpet event. Come out and represent, support. We all need it. It's a great movie. Remember, Street Angels, next Sunday. Click that button, share, like, subscribe. Sometimes all it takes is one click of a button to make a difference in your life and it changed somebody else's. This has been another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Creighton Show.